Hey, I'm Mike Barrell, and I just want to say thanks for tuning in to let us give you some more information about Evolution Kids Tennis. Evolution Kids Tennis has kind of been born from all the other work that we've done around the world. So our parent company, Evolve 9, has worked on a lot of kids programs in various parts of the world, both for providers and for national federations. So as I work as consultants, we've developed curriculum, we've developed competition structures, lots of different versions of branding and all kinds of other messaging. And we try to make sure that everything's always child-centered. So Evolution now is a culmination of all that work and all the best bits that we think we've done, and actually our evolution as a company as well, trying to make sure that we continue to push the boundaries and improve our offering. But what we want to really focus on today is how we're trying to solve some of the challenges that you face in your roles every day on the court working with kids. So our first one is really trying to make sure that everybody feels like really focused on why we're all there, what we're doing, and how we're going forwards. And we think that in doing that, we have to determine what success, what do metrics look like, and make sure we're clear so that every day you go to work and you know exactly what you're trying to achieve and how that fits in the bigger picture. So our metrics are pretty simple. We call it program health, but at the same time, I think it's also tennis coach health, because once you're moving in this direction, you'll find that everything's more rewarding, everything's more interesting, and for you, you'll be much more motivated to actually deliver. So we focus on these things, and we're trying to make sure that we're working on how to get kids to play more often. Crucially, once a kid plays more often, then of course they're going to improve faster. They're going to be less frustrated. The parents are going to be happier. Coaches are going to be more motivated to work with them as they develop their skills. And a big part of that is making sure that we produce events, competitions, and things that the kids really want to attend, things that really motivate them to want to do more. And those two things there, the playing twice a week thing and the competing idea, very much interlinked, because of course, if a kid competes, he's got more reasons to come more often. On top of that, we're trying to make sure that all of our programs work on three main areas, and that's tennis at the club, tennis online, and tennis at home and away from the facility. And the reason we've moved in that direction is, of course, because of the COVID pandemic and how we're looking to engage kids in more tennis, in more aspects of their daily life, so that they can feel more motivated for the limited time that we might have them on the court right now. Then, of course, we're looking to make progress. So we'll show you the curriculum shortly, but this idea of how we're trying to move from one level to another and making that easier for you. We look at this like you should be the driver of the car as opposed to have to be the mechanic and the engineer and do everything else. So we're providing you with all the tools and the resources that will help you to do that. And then finally, the big measure for us, or the big final two measures for us, are kids that stay in the program and play tennis for life, which is the goal for all of us. And I'm sure if you've been in the industry long enough, you've had kids that you taught who came back and told you experiences of when they were in your program. And, you know, we've had experiences of kids who ended up being tennis coaches and tennis players and all those kind of things. So if you look at those factors, if you had kids coming multiple times a week, they were playing events and tournaments, they were engaged away from the facility and making progress, of course, they're going to stay. They're not going anywhere at that point. You know that you've got them and you've got that kind of commitment. So this whole program, everything we do in Evolution, is designed to try and make these things happen. And we do that through looking at how we build a much bigger environment, which brings more motivation, commitment, and therefore the development of young players. So it's not a mystery that once we can make all these things happen, kids will get better much faster, and kids will be happier and more engaged in your program at the club. So as a big part of this, then, we're trying to make sure that you feel like everything's connected. So once you've determined a little bit of a direction and those metrics we just talked about, you can start to say, you know what, everything we're doing is part of the same thing. Everything is part of the same model, the same way we're moving forwards. And we call this create a tennis jungle, where everything's pushing against each other and everything's helping each other part to improve. And we can equate it a little bit to your first trip to a professional tennis tournament and all the things you felt like you connected with there. It wasn't just to see your heroes, it was also the stadium, the branding, the logos, everything you did while you were there gave you this whole experience. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create something much more, much more than just teaching lessons. So the next couple of slides I'm going to show you how we deliver that. The first thing is where our focus is. A lot of programs, the focus is on creating a map, creating a pathway, creating the idea of this is what you have to teach. But for us, we want to make sure we have all the bits for the journey. So we're looking at the map, the driver, and the car. We're looking at where is it we need to go, and what are the skills you need to get there, and what's the vehicle that will take us there as well. And we believe that when we put all those three things together, you'll have success and you'll be able to more easily meet the needs of your players. And that means we've got to help you with every single area of this. Through Evolution, we're helping you become a better driver, build a better map, and also crucially build a better environment in which kids can play. And when we say that environment, we're looking at these 5 things. So these are our core 5 pillars for Evolution that we decided that pretty much all successful sports programs have strong elements of this. So you can see right at the top, we put competition. It's actually our first pillar, getting the right kind of competition for the right kids in the right environment so that they fall in love with the game. And then the lessons support that and they lead towards those competitions. And that's the purpose of lessons, to help me to play more and play better. Practice is a kind of concept around match plays and a bit more free play and a bit more social play. And then we have these other pillars here of social and parent support. So our model is based on providing all those 5 things. And we know that when clubs provide all those 5 things, we have successful tennis programs. But when programs only focus on lessons, retention becomes a problem. Seeing a purpose and a why and why we're doing things results in kids not coming enough to get good fast enough in order to really improve and then commit to the sport. The interesting thing about this document, or this page rather, is if you look at it, you'll see that there's an overlap. There's the child in the center, and we've talked about that already, but there's an overlap between all the areas because we believe that these aren't 5 separate pillars. These are all connected pillars, and the key to the success is how we connect all those things together. How, when we're getting ready for a competition, we talk about it in lessons, we prepare them with the right skills, we do some practice match plays that are preparing them with the right competitive skills, that they know they're ready to play. The parents understand the purpose of the competition, why it's there, and they can be supportive and they know clearly their role. And then there's a great strong social element to that competition. So with each one of those, it's always connected to the other 4. And that in itself is something for you to reflect on. So whether you decide at the end of this Evolution something you want to explore, or you just want to continue with your own program, this is a great model to look at and understand that when you connect things together, your program becomes much stronger. And behind that program, of course, we want every child to be super motivated. We want every kid to want to play more, want to be on the court more, and want to feel like tennis is their place. And we know that when you hit the early teenage years, that a lot of kids give up sports and give up other activities because they specialize in the areas they feel competent. So we want that level of competence, that feeling of competence, to really resonate in everything we do. So imagine if every kid you got to teach this week was really motivated when you got on the court, was really excited to be there. And a great big part of that is to look at, well, what is this concept of fun? And most of us have seen sports studies that say the number 1 reason kids give up tennis or a sporting activity is because it wasn't fun anymore. But that's actually not a thing in itself, because of course different things are fun. I could make friends and that might make it fun to me. I could be respected, listened to, understood. That might make it fun. I could become more competent. That could make it fun. So for us, the key here is, yes, fun is a really important word, but you have to dig deeper to make sure that we're delivering the right things that then make a fun environment for the kid. And crucially, what's going to make them feel competent and successful. And that's a bit of a challenge because, of course, you have kids at different levels. If I turn up to tennis tomorrow and I've never played before, I'm going to be at a different level probably than a kid who has played tennis before or has at least got an athletic background. So the only way we can make everyone feel successful and feel really motivated is to focus on rewarding behaviors. So in our program, we've redefined success as exhibiting certain behaviors. And they're pretty simple when you think about them. Respect is all about the environment, the people around you. So you can be respectful to your parents, to your coaches, to your teammates, to the other children in your lesson, to the equipment, to the court, to the facility. It's showing those kind of really good behaviors that we want every child to learn as a result of being involved in sport. Train, the second one, is about working hard. It's about trying your best. It's about giving maximum effort. Compete is an interesting one for us. Compete is about enjoying the battle almost more than the victory sometimes. So compete is this ability to accept and deal with adversity, to almost enjoy it when your opponent is good. And then the final one there is explore, and explore is positioned as a behavior where you're prepared to try new skills, where you're prepared to be inquisitive, ask questions, answer questions. And there are crossovers between all the four. But the crucial thing here is we have a reward system that's based around these bands and some cards, which I'll show you a little later. But that reward system focuses on rewarding those behaviors, because every child can truly control and decide if they exhibit those behaviors. So that's what we mean by we want to try and make every kid feel successful, because every kid actually in this environment can be genuinely rewarded for the work that they've done. And of course, once they're exhibiting those behaviors, their tennis will improve, because these are the key things you need to be not only a successful tennis player, but also a successful human being if you decide that tennis or sport is not your thing and you're going to go in a different direction. It's also a really crucial communication tool that we use for parents, helping them to understand the purpose of sport, why we're there, and what we're trying to achieve through the program. Then, of course, we get to the question of, well, okay, our kids are enthusiastic, but what if they really want to be purposeful? What if they're really, how can we make them really committed? So imagine if you could get your kids to be super excited, super pumped up about the game of tennis, because that's the game that you totally love, and that's why you're there on the court teaching. You want these kids to exhibit the same level of passion for the game of tennis as you do. How do we do that? It's pretty simple, really. We put the game at the heart of everything. So if you go back to the slide with the first 5 pillars, you'll see that competition was right there at the top. What do we mean by competition? Well, it has to be presented in the right way. So we developed 2 resources. One is called the World Tour, and the World Tour idea is 6 kid-friendly competitions across the year. We provide all the resources you need for it, all the formats, all the themes, all the stickers, posters, collateral that you need to run a great event. And then the idea is we also have a number of tools that connect it to learning, because that was really important for us to connect it to lessons. And we have an overall tour player award system, which helps record points and helps players to achieve certain key milestones as they're moving through the process. The important thing about our competition structure, as opposed to some of the others, is it's very much a personal journey. You're rewarded for your successes as opposed to a comparable thing. So as you achieve, you'll score more points towards a player award. And then when you hit a certain number of points, you'll receive that award. The other component of our tour player awards is this thing we developed at the start of COVID, actually. And we moved into this area called the Challenge Tour. It's home-based activities, city themed, the same as the World Tour was, based around cities all around the world, following the professional tour. And it's linked to actually practicing and developing skills at home. So we have a weekly quiz. We have a first round that involves 3 core activities, a semi-final that involves 2 core activities, and a Beat the Pro event on the Saturday, which involves a final activity. So again, linked to the player award, so you can score points by doing these activities that carry forwards into your competitions, and that will help you to achieve your awards for your milestones that much faster. So the key here for us in these 2 areas is we want the kids to be super excited about playing the game of tennis, playing the game of tennis through competition, playing the game of tennis at home, and then the lessons and everything else we do are going to lead to that. So let's move on and look at those kind of areas. We have a curriculum which is developed. There are lots of programs out there with curriculums. The key for us is not that the curriculum exists or even necessarily what it is. It's about how that creates a cohesiveness amongst your team. So for many of us, we want our team to be on the same page. We use the bus analogy quite a lot. The idea is, everybody has to be on the same bus. We can't have people who don't want to go in a different direction when you're working a club or academy environment. We all have to be singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. Some people will choose to be at slightly different positions on the bus. Some people want to drive. Some people want to navigate. Some people are happy to be a passenger, but we need everybody to commit to moving in that direction. So, imagine if all of your team were moving in the same direction, all of your team understood the same program, all of your team spoke the same language. That's one of our core missions to help you achieve. And we do that through this. We have an instructional based system, which is principle based. So principle based means we determine destinations and the kind of way we're going to get there, but we don't tell people they have to teach exactly this lesson plan. In fact, our lesson plan is very unique. We ask our pros to devise the lesson plan based on the core content that's required by the kids, based on the competencies, which we'll show you on the next slide. We do have 400 games and activities to support that. The key thing about this lesson plan is the system allows you to plan 4 lessons in the time it would take you to drink a cup of coffee. So it's not time consuming. It's not taking pros away from being on the court. It's designed to be really effective and efficient. And then everything else we're doing is child-based. So it's how do kids learn? How do we inspire them to want to try and achieve these things? And how do we go about basing our development on what we know of their cognitive and physical development? And this is an example of one of our pages of our curriculum. We have 6 levels of curriculum. The curriculum is focused on a progression of tactical missions as opposed to a progression of balls. And we did that because we know that there are situations where players come in at a later age or an early age, and we want to try and make sure they maximize the level of skill they achieve as opposed to looking at the ball as being the whole sole way that they progress. And that's quite important for us to get everybody to understand, because of course, most people are talking red, orange, green as a system, as opposed to red, orange, green as a toolkit. For us, then, we're looking at making sure there are huge technical parameters. Technique is very, very important for kids. It just needs to be presented in the right way. We've also added key athletic skills, and we also have those behaviors which filter through onto the mission cards as warrior skills. So in all of this, the curriculum, that kind of sheet, and there are various forms of this sheet to make it flexible for your situation, whether you have 12 weeks to give the feedback or just a week to give the feedback. And in doing that, we're trying to make sure that it forms a curriculum. It forms an opportunity to discuss these things with the players and with the parents, and to give feedback as to where we are on the journey. And that's a big part of our common language. Other key things, match play is really important for us. I mentioned earlier when we were talking about behaviors that we have systems. The idea of the warrior cards is we reward behaviors during lessons, and then you can use these warrior cards to help you in matches when you come to practice. So we've got that connection we were talking about earlier. The key thing is that each card that you win could give you almost a superpower. It could allow you to take a shot away from your opponent for a point, or call a ball out for a point, or do a whole lot of other different things. Essentially, what we want to do is create an environment that's preparing kids for competition through productive match plays where they're learning, and do it in a fun way that makes it really interesting and for them to be out there and they feel like the pressure's off, but they're getting to experiment and explore, like we were talking about before, all of these core skills that they really need to enjoy and love competing. Another key area that we really focus on is this idea of athletic development. So we have athletic development within our curriculum, but aside from that, we also created what is almost a mini Olympics, which you do a couple of times a year with your kids. And the idea is that it's based around 5 key team events that cover all the key skills that children need to develop in this crucial under 12 pre-pubertal age group. It's supported by over 100 activities and videos online, so you can see ideas in which you can build this into your warm-ups, build into your other activities. The crucial thing for this is that kids are now motivated because they see that they're working towards an event, that they're going to play with their friends. And therefore, when they're doing their athletic skills, it doesn't become something that, oh, I'm just doing this until I get to play tennis. I'm doing these skills. I enjoy doing these skills. I like playing these games. They're part of my tennis lesson, and they're actually helping me to build skills which will equate and cross over into my tennis game. So by presenting like this, the Pentagames, we have a formula which is much more interesting, much more engaging, and therefore much more likely to be successful. So those are the kind of core concepts that we have within a curriculum. But more than that, evolution is something much, much bigger. Because we know, as we said at the beginning, if we just develop the map, or even if we just build the car, if you're not supported on your journey as a driver, then we're not going to reach the destination. So imagine how it would feel to know that you've got support, not just from the people at your facility, but a whole global network of both our team, the development staff that are behind the creation of evolution, but also those delivering evolution. This is much more than information. It's a whole support system to help you with the implementation of your program so you get the success that you really want. And we do that in two ways. One is, as I've said, we build the network. We have a network of monthly online exchanges. If you're on the academy level, you'll get a mentor that's supporting you. We calendarize a lot of the key things that you do every year so that you know, okay, yeah, it's this time of year, I need to be starting to get ready for marketing this particular area of our program. And then we support you through social media groups, an online project room. Basically, what you're getting is a network of people who are there for you to help you deliver and keep you on track. And on top of that, we have a whole online professional development program designed to help train you and your team to better deliver the program. So this is not a certification to replace a national governing body certification or an ITF award. It's purely based around the core things that you need to know to deliver evolution as a program. You can look at it like it's a specialist Mercedes mechanic training course. You already know how to be a mechanic. Now you go to work for Mercedes. So now you need to be trained specifically on that program. And that's where this fits. For evolution, we need you to understand every element of it. We need you to be an expert so that when you're communicating with parents and the kids, you don't have any gray areas. You're clear on what you're doing, where you're going, and where this is all taking you. The best way for us to facilitate that is, of course, online, because that doesn't take you away from your day-to-day work. We know everybody's busy. We know time is a challenge. So now you can pick up key modules, and those modules add together to create designations like coach, master coach, facilitator, tournament manager, those kind of things. Aside from that, and obviously face-to-face workshops and our annual conference, which we do, we provide the opportunity to have remote lesson tune-ins. And what that means is some of our team can actually tune in via a video link to watch your lessons on court and then give you feedback on the areas that you're working really well on and if there's any ideas that you need. So you can use this both as an audit process for us to tune in and watch your lessons just to check you're still on track or your team is still on track. Or if you're having a particular challenge with a particular player, you can say, you know what, could you tune in to this lesson and give me your advice on what you think about his forehand or why we're having problems motivating this child or those kind of areas. So essentially, we're supporting you through a network that will help you implement the program, and we're providing all the resources that you need to train you and your team to make sure you can really deliver. We know how tough it is to be on a court 35 or 40 hours. It's a long job, it's tiring, and as much as we love inspiring children and teaching the game, it's still important that you know that we're going to look after the evolution of evolution. And you can look at it like this. It's like an iPhone. An iPhone may be a great phone, but you know that there's going to be another version coming down the line. And for us, that's key. It's key that we continually refresh what we're doing, that we inspire you and you have the tools and resources to further inspire your players so that nothing becomes stale. Every year we develop a new module in a new area, or we refresh certain key resources when we add certain elements to them. So we've added Tennis Quest, which is a really exciting schools program which focuses on 6 unique adventures that you can present on a playground to really inspire kids and help them to understand the game. And we've provided Court Kids, which dovetails into the bottom of evolution, providing the best start for preschool age kids based around physical literacy, movement and fundamental motor skills. Beyond this, we want you to understand that evolution is an us, not a them. Once you're in, it's not about using a program. It's not about reading a map. It's about actually being involved. We want you to feel that this is a thing that you're committed to, but also is committed to you. And we're all working to move the whole program together. And we have a saying, we say, we really want advocates, adventurers, and architects. And by advocates, we mean people that love the program, want to tell others how great it is. Adventurers, because we want people who are going to go off and find new stuff, create new ideas, and be prepared to speak up and voice their ideas so that we can continually improve the program. And then those architects, so that once we've found those ideas, we can bring them back and we can help build better programs for everybody. It's key for us that you understand that evolution is a way of thinking about things, not just a set of resources. Evolution is about the car, the map, the driver. Evolution is about helping build a better environment for kids to play, delivering a program which inspires and motivates them and has the correct resources. And then also, crucially, looks after you and is a support system for you in what is a very difficult job. So what next? Well, here's the interesting one. We're not going to ask you to sign up. Not yet anyway. Because for us, we're very proud of what we've created. This is our great car that we've created, and we don't want necessarily everybody to have the keys. What we want to do is we want to make sure that this vehicle, this program, this collaboration meets the needs of the people that are involved. So if you'd like to find out more, if you're interested in being involved, please go to the top link, add your details, and we'll arrange a call. Myself or one of the team will call you just to make sure that this is a good fit for you, that it is going to be useful, and that you will be able to get the maximum out of this program. If you want to find out more, you can go to the second link. You'll find a lot more details in the partner info than perhaps we've been able to discuss today. And then we've added the sign up link. And I know I said we weren't asking you to sign up, but we've added the sign up link because we want you to know about the levels of the program. There are different levels based on how much support you're going to need, how many resources you're going to need, and what kind of commitment you really want. You can go to that link and you can just get an idea of what the packages might look like. And whether you choose to sign up now or you choose to sign up in a month's time, this code will be valid for the rest of 2020. If you take the code Evolve Together, you will get a 10% discount off of the package prices as a thank you for tuning in to this presentation. But if evolution isn't for you, then I hope you found this presentation useful. I hope it sparked something that made you think, well, if we added that to our program, it could make our program just that little bit better. Because after all, everybody is just trying to create better places to play. Our passion is to see kids on a tennis court coming back for more, to see motivated coaches, to see amazing environments that kids want to come back to time and time again, to see happy parents, to see happy club owners who see the successes that tennis should be having. Thanks again for clicking, and thanks mostly for your time, because if you're hearing this, you've got to the end of the presentation. And if there's anything else we can do, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can contact us through all forms of social media. Just type in Evolve9 and you'll find us. And we hope to be talking to you soon. Have a great week.